The American Red Devils, and we are live talking about Manchester United transfer news. It is Wednesday, July 23rd. USA Tour in full swing, getting pumped for West Ham on Saturday. And if you're an American Red Devil, you're going to appreciate the good kickoff. It is 4 p.m. Pacific. We rarely get those late afternoon dark ale kickoffs. 4 p.m. Pacific, sir. West Ham signings, rumors. United, I feel like, did the two deals. We're hanging out, ready to strike, ready to be opportunistic. Strikers on the menu, goalkeepers on the menu. I feel like we could get a nice window, but we want to get the business done early.
Woo, sir, how we doing? How we doing? It's great to be live with the YouTube community. We are, like you said, the boys are officially on preseason tour in the States. They arrived in Chicago, Windy City last night, not going to the West Coast for the first time in a long time. And so far, so good. Like you said, we got two big players in. Apparently, Ruben Amorim's preferred first two targets. He wanted dynamic 10s, dynamic wingers that could add goals and physicality and the ability to carry the ball from one end of the pitch to the next. And I think he got two of the best players on the market in Matheus Cunha and Bryan Mbeumo. And he got him in somehow. Ineos, I did not think they would, got him in before they left for tour. Thank you, Bob Johnson, calling out the kit. It's one of my favorite in a long time, the 24-25 kit. Don't like the new white kit quite as much. But like you said, two big players in. I think there are three kind of critical areas of the 11 that we want to strengthen. Obviously, striker, obviously, goalkeeper, and now I think United are even positioning beyond those two positions. They want to strengthen and reinforce in the sixth position. Ruben Amorim has talked about that after the Leeds game, that we're missing a little bit of physicality and pace in that role. So that'll be interesting to look at over the next coming weeks and months. But either way, now it's going to be optimistic around a number 9. I think they're going all in on a number 9 is probably their next target. We're also hearing smoke around a goalkeeper, probably a backup to Onana, but that's not the worst case scenario given how competent this backup looks. So a lot to look forward to. Like you said, we've got a great preseason game that will be live streaming on Saturday. Great time for the two of us. The wives not so much. 4 o'clock on a Saturday. What are you doing?
No, I had like...
what are you doing?
I literally had the in-laws. The in-laws are in town. I had a date night dinner on the books that the wife had to move it to Sunday, sir. That's like United West Ham preseason, baby.
Hammers.
I got in trouble, but
Hey, fuck it.
we live on. Let's jump into the news. We're covering Romano podcast. Their podcast. Here we go. He was talking about Manchester United. Obviously, everyone looking for those clicks in the summer transfer window. He says, quote, "These two positions are the priority, striker and goalkeeper, but keep an eye on defensive midfielders." And that's something that we have to be pulling on that thread. Romano basically telling us the plan. Hey, we got Cunha, we got Mbeumo in, and this is all about striker and goalkeeper with a shout for defensive midfielder if maybe we can get our Garnacho out for good money. And I think this is sort of where we're in the Ineos, and the front office can add a lot of value if you can wheel and deal and you can get players off the books. You can sell a player for some money, get somebody in, maybe a loan for a defensive mid. United need to get Amorim these sets of players. I'm very excited about this. Obviously, striker we'll jump into, but what do you make of Romano's lay of the land right now here in late July?
I mean, it feels like they're prioritizing the right areas of the pitch. You know, we know this team, first and foremost, the biggest issue they had last season was the lack of goals. I think the two signings already are going to go a long way. But if you look at how Cunha and Mbeumo play, you need a number 9 who can capitalize on all those crosses that are coming in. Rasmus Højlund today is not that guy, but the players they're looking at, both Ollie Watkins and Šeško, apparently that's how you say his name. Šeško. I was watching highlights last night, are very good in the air. I think Ollie Watkins is even better in the air, and given the price, the age, I think Villa be willing to do a deal, especially with maybe Garnacho going the other way. I really don't want Emi Martinez given the price, and I feel like it's really being pushed by the agent, but the striker, I'm glad it seems like at least Manchester United are messaging. I think they're a little too open about who they're going after, but it makes sense because we need a number 9, first and foremost, even more so than probably getting a new goalkeeper, and that seems to be their immediate priority. So, sir, you know, there are options, but the options are going down, right? Players, both Victors are off the market, and things are moving quickly in that regard. So, and Ekitike, of course, is going to the Scouse Bastards, so obviously he's no good now. Never rated him. But it'll be one to keep an eye on. And like you said, it's going to be very important for Ineos to make some fucking moves and be wheeling and dealing. They already got Rashford off the books. That is a win. You know, we're hearing 12, we're hearing 17 million in pounds in savings. Either way, it's real savings. So now it's about putting that money to work.
And, from Petty Goal, this is a tier 3 source that Ruben Amorim prefers to sign a striker with Premier League experience. And if you're looking at the list, that narrows it down from your boy Šeško, Nicholas Jackson, Ollie Watkins are the only two names we've really heard any concrete interest from Manchester United. And for me, you got to go Ollie Watkins just because he's got the EPL experience. He's a great profile player, a little older, but if we can wheel and deal, I think it could be pretty attractive. And Romano came out again on his same podcast talking about Ollie Watkins and Sesko are really the two opportunities. Vlahovic has been a player that United have been linked to as well or have been shown. I think United has done a good job in this transfer window of letting things materialize, right? Gyökeres off the table, Sesko now, nobody's interested in that big money deal, and there's going to be options. I feel like prices of strikers are dropping right now. When you have Ollie Watkins or Sesko in the market, you can play those two teams off each other. Villa's going to get real around 40 or 50. You have to think this is how you create value in the transfer market. So as far as striker, United's leaning back, assessing the options, and maybe can strike with a good quality transaction, sir. What do you make of the news? Do you like how United's setting this up?
I mean, I think we're going back to a strategy around transfers that we haven't done in over a decade. I don't think even any of the previous managers who had too much say around signings opted for Premier League proven. And that is the Fergie thing, tried and true from his first Premier League title in 93 to his last Premier League title in 2013. Every single team was kind of built on finding the best and brightest around England. And let's go back to that model. I think England and the Premier League is only more of a kind of a delta between the other leagues now than it even was 10 years ago in terms of the physicality and the pace. So I like Ollie Watkins. I think you can get a much better deal for him than Jackson. Also, his consistency is much higher. I know you're going to have a resale value, but at the end of the day, he's going to offer top tier performance for the next 3 years. And I think you could get a deal. We're hearing crazy number from Nicholas. It's like, oh, we don't want to sell him, but we actually do want to sell him. And he's 100 million. What the fuck? No, thank you for a guy who scored 10 goals last season, the same amount that Højlund scored in his first season at United at 21. Ollie Watkins has consistent double-digit goal scoring record, for the last 5-6 years. So he would slot in excellently. Højlund could learn from him. And EPL proven. Him with Cunha and Mbumo and fucking Bruno behind them. Like, come on, let's go. That would be a dangerous front three with the Magnifico behind him pulling the strings. So what are you thinking? So the other guys, Sesko feels like another really risky, expensive punt.
No, totally. And shout out to everybody watching the live stream, supporting the American Red Devils. Get in the chat. Let us know. Who do you want? Is it Ollie Watkins, Sesko, or should we be going for a Jackson or Vlahovic type character? Also, smash the like, subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel. Exciting times at Manchester United. I feel like we have a strong base. This is where you can add value in the window, right? Lots of players available. These clubs need cash. Red Bull wants to, the fact that Gyökeres went to Arsenal and that sort of chair's filled. Now there's not a 80 million pound check out there for Red Bull. And then you look at Villa, and if it was just United and Ollie Watkins was the only option, they would have all the leverage. Chelsea now, no one's going to buy Nicholas Jackson for 100 million. Jumping into the chat, Rajat V, Ollie not good. He only got a few good patches of play there. And then West Stand says for the price of Jackson, I would take Ollie Watkins. So my gut tells me Ollie Watkins, and you know why? It's not the sexy pick. It's not the exciting pick. It's not the hero, let's go type of signing that United has been associated with in the past, like a Sanchez or even like an Antony. But it's a bread and butter EPL player who has experience. He has great movement. I watched all of his goals over the last 2 years. The thing about Ollie Watkins that is actually a surprise is his assists. He has 21 assists over the last 2 seasons. Bruno only has 18. He has more assists than Bruno Fernandes playing number 9. And oh, by the way, he's double-digit goal scorer. He has come off a little bit, but that's because Count Chocula, Unai Emery didn't really rate him. 1v1, he's great with the keeper. I mean, something that you haven't seen at United is a striker round the keeper and score an easy goal. Aerial threat, great finisher. He's a poacher in the box, and those assists, I think, could be really dangerous with a Cunha and Mbumo combo up front. So for me, the profile, while it might not be the flashiest signing United can make, I feel like if we can get good money, 40 million, Garnacho swap, Ollie Watkins on a 3-year deal, take him to 33, have an option if he continues to play well. He's also an England player. So for me, it's Ollie Watkins all day. Sesko, if we had a great number 9, you bring in a young upcoming talent, but I feel like it's Ollie Watkins all day. Look at the stats. Watch the highlights. He's a great player.
No, his goal scoring record speaks for himself. Like you said, I think given the players that you're going to be having playing behind him or next to him, and Cunha and Mbeumo, he's a perfect complement because he's so good in the air. And you look at his goal scoring record. Also, his number of games, right? His consistency around injuries and fitness. He played 38 games last year, 16 goals. Season before, 37 EPL games, 19 goals, 13 assists in that season. Season before that, 37 games, 15 goals. So not only does he stay fit, he's a proven goal scorer. And I think we can get a deal. And I think we spent decent money, market price on our first two signings. We need someone to work with us around price. Šeško, I don't think they're going to do that. That's their prize asset, even if they need money. Same with Jackson. Chelsea are going to be coy because they can be. They have a fucking 600 players on their team, whereas Villa need to make a deal, and we have a player that would actually be a perfect fit. I would much rather sell Garnacho to Villa than I would to Chelsea. So I like that. Let's look at the stats, sir, between the two. Obviously, two different leagues, two different age profiles, but break down the difference between Ollie Watkins and Šeško from a stat perspective.
Yeah, and so watching his highlights in the league for Villa, you can tell he's all about poaching in the box. Touches in the box is just out. Šeško is more like run and gun, like a York rush, get the ball, run at defenders. United need that sort of, like we've seen the issues with Højlund and his movement in the box. Like Ollie Watkins, he's a poacher in the box, non-penalty XG. Great conversion, and he is an aerial threat, but Šeško is way more of an aerial threat playing in the Bundesliga. So at the end of the day, I'm going Ollie Watkins here. I think he answers all the questions United needs. I think we can also get a good deal. They're posturing for 60. Can we whittle them down through other alternatives? I have to think this is, like I said, not the flashiest signing for United, but one where we need to eat our Wheaties, so to speak, and just get someone who can do the job. Ollie Watkins, 89th percentile on non-penalty XG, 81st percentile on non-penalty goals. So I think he'd be great at Manchester United.
And he scores shit ton of goals. I mean, look at even the chances we created last year when we scored, 44 goals in the Premier League season over 38 games. If Højlund just knew how to stay on his feet and poach the back post, he would have had 10 more goals if you look at how many chances we created. And we're going to get more of those chances. One of the things that Mbeumo does well is that kind of classic Man City chip back post where somebody's going to sit there and either slam it in with their head or their foot, and Watkins would be perfect for that. So I think he fits the profile, he fits the price, especially given the needs elsewhere. We can't go splashing 80 million on I hate to say it, Šeško is unproven given his goal scoring record, only really one or two.
No, but the ceiling's higher, right?
No doubt. And there's a resale value there that you wouldn't get with Ollie Watkins.
22-year-old upcoming talent versus a 29-year-old proven striker. Maybe Watkins' best years are behind him, but I just look at that link up. 21 assists in the last two seasons. Look at how that system in Aston Villa, he's just a player who's going to play centrally and distribute. And when you have Cunha and when you have Ahmad and when you have Mbeumo, like that's the type of striker you want. And when you look at a Højlund, he's not giving you the position. He's not giving you the link up. And I feel like an Ollie Watkins is an upgrade by such a margin at United that let's just keep it simple, stupid. Sign EPL proven talent.
Easy.
Let him run next season. Next story here. Everybody's seen the news. Marcus Rashford, Barcelona. Here we go. Just got the announcement. Picking up the phone here in the phone booth.
Yep.
All right. Let's go Barcelona here.
It's fucking weird. It's surreal. It's like, an ex-girlfriend together with like a your rival. I mean, it's just, I wish him best. I wish him luck. He got a good break. I think, I hate to say it, I have to agree with Sheringham. Like, doesn't really deserve to move to one of the top performing clubs in the world right now, given his last 4 years. But at the end of the day, I hope he does well. I hope the contract converts and we get some money and we move on from the Marcus Rashford era, and that's that. So it's a shame it's gone this way. That's football. That's life. I do think he'll do well in La Liga. I do think he'll do well in Flick setup. But at the end of the day, this is just kind of a sad story where he was valued at £100 million like 3 years ago, and now
I think it was 2. I think it was 2 years ago,
Jesus
even.
Christ.
And look, for me, as a United fan, you got to say, hey, we're cheering Marcus Rashford on at Barcelona. Like, that's the position of United fans. People want to try to kick him on the way out. No, this is a great deal. Like, we got his wages off the books. Manager doesn't want him. We save over 12 million this next fiscal year as far as his wages. That could help us sign a goalkeeper or even get an Ollie Watkins in. So I'm rooting for Marcus Rashford. I want him to do well at Barcelona, and I want them to pay us money. Now, did he deserve a move to Barcelona? No, like his play on the pitch hasn't been there, but he's got hype behind him, and we're using that hype to get Barcelona to pay him money, and then obviously he took a wage cut to play there. So it works out for all parties. So I'm not going to root against Marcus Rashford. But then at the end of the day, it's about results on the pitch. And when I saw him play for United, he wasn't running back. And so I'm glad we got an Mbumo in who actually is third in the league for yardage covered, right? And we're switching from this, hype man who maybe doesn't track back to dogs that are going to work in this team. And so I think it's a win-win for all parties. Weird to see him at Barca, but you got to cheer him on.
Yeah, and he has no excuses now because I think if he can't find the motivation to perform, train, do all the stuff he needs to do and be a top class player in Barcelona, the only person he can blame is himself. So we wish him luck. We hope the deal converts, and I hope he smashes it in Spain so we can buy Balaba next year with that money. So,
yeah, Oliver Hoff says outdoing the piano boy Sanchez. Look, it's these videos, the social media video hypes are weird. I like how United.
I've got. By the way, I love that.
The Sanchez video is great.
It cursed us though.
No, but him playing "Glory Glory Man United" on the piano is awesome. If you go watch the video, obviously it didn't come off, but that was such a great, just a great announcement. And I'm glad United have just kind of gotten to the player announcement interview, just get it out there and they don't go through these hype videos because it is awkward, but good on Rashford here. And then Rajat V says he wasn't that amazing at Villa. Moving on to our next topic here. We're looking at the USA Tour, Aston Villa. You want to run us through it, sir?
A lot of the names we're familiar with, so I can go through every name if that's helpful, but I think I just want to call out some folks. It's all the players that we're used to seeing, and I just want to call out some of the youngsters that are featuring. Some were in Sweden, some did not make it to Sweden, but Reece Monroe, who's the unit, English 6'4", left-footed center back with a great reputation for last-ditch tackles, he made it. Jack Fletcher, of course, the son of Darren, one of the two sons of Darren, tall player, midfielder, good range of passing. Sekou Kone, that's the big one. He got the news. There was kind of speculation about whether he's going to go back to the U21s, go on loan, but apparently he has impressed during preseason, even at Carrington.
And postseason tour. He played well in the postseason tour. Sekou Kone, remember the name. He's breaking in. They're going to send him to Lausanne, cancel the loan. Just kidding. I would like to see him get minutes in preseason. I want to see him fight for that bench spot. It'd be a great cup competition type of start from him, but he's the real deal coming in, sir.
And he's in a position we need. He could play in the 6th spot. He could play in the 8, but I think this team is dying. We have enough 8s. He's dying. We're dying for a 6. He still needs to develop physically, but it's a great kind of nod to the player that the manager rates him. He's coming on tour. I can't wait to see more of him. Ethan Williams, this is another player that was a little bit surprising. Left winger who had the most key passes per 90 among any U21 attackers last year in the PL2. He apparently has turned the head of Ruben Amorim as well. And last but not least, Bendito Mantato, a player that we've heard a lot about as kind of his favored wingback position. Very, very fast. So someone to keep an eye on.
Saw him in Sweden just for 20 minutes. It was on the second half, then right off. Not sure exactly why. Also, Maguire, he was dealing with a personal matter. He's going to join later. Lissandro Martinez, remember him? He's traveling. He's just going to be training off to the side. He's not going to feature at all. But yeah, some big names. Mason Mount, I want to see Ugarte play. We, haven't seen a lot of them. That back line situation against Leeds, we're playing good teams. Like I said, it's West Ham, Saturday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll be doing a live stream for that. So please get back on our YouTube channel, subscribe, smash that button, and then follow the American Red Devils because we're going to be live streaming as many matches as we can. Obviously, we can't do them all, sir. But 4:30 a.m. we will be there live, sir, watching this team, breaking it down. And I'm feeling hopeful. This season, I have hope. We had good vibes, John, on the pod. I'm feeling the good vibes from the signings. And, it was a rough year. Everyone's got it was tough. It was tough. But I'm starting to see some cracks of light breaking through with these transfer rumors. And I can almost get behind this team if we can get Amorim, a goalie, a striker, and another midfielder. If we can do all three, I'm really excited about this season as far as pushing up to the top half of the table, maybe not necessarily winning 21.
Yeah, it's good. It's a project, it's a work in progress. I have to agree. I think the quality of the signings, I think Ineos finally getting their shit together. I think, like I said, get one player out. The other ones are going to be tough. Sancho is dragging now. We'll get into that in a second. But the level of quality signings, the talent from the youth perspective in terms of the U23s and below in the squad right now in terms of Amads, Lenny Euros, Dogus, etc. I'm pumped. I'm all in. And I just, like you said, a little bit more juice Imagine this team with an Ollie Watkins, a really strong backup keeper that can push Onana to maybe be the Inter Milan quality keeper we saw 3 years ago, or at least maybe take his spot. And then, like you said, a 6 that can challenge Ugarte, that can learn from Casemiro. So only need 3 because we have a lot of players, but it's kind of an uneven squad if you look at the squad that's even going to the U.S. in the first place. A lot of defenders, a little light on attackers, and we only have 1 number 9. I guess 2 with Cheeto, but he's a kid.
It's an incomplete team for this manager that Ineos brought in, and they need to back him. And what Romano said is basically striker, goalkeeper, and then a maybe on a defensive midfielder. But the manager's asking, it's up to Ineos and the front office to answer. Now, how we should be viewing preseason through this lens, look, West Ham, this is a write-off game. You want to see us play well, but there's not a lot to it. By the time you get to Fiorentina back on August 9th, I believe, in England, that's the bar. Like, that's the starting 11. That's the team that we need to see a solid 45 minutes out of. No bluffers in that team. So at the end of the day, there's a lot of work for the front office to do before that match, and there's a lot of work for Ruben Amorim to do. Sweden, that was just fitness. West Ham is going to be fitness plus maybe a little look on the tactical side, but it's really about getting fitness. And then Fiorentina, when we play them, David De Gea makes his return. That's when we're going to judge this team if they're ready for the season. There's a lot to do. I feel like we're kind of cramming for the test here, but I'm hopefully optimistic at the moment, sir. Jumping into the next bit of news, next transfer that we're being linked to, goalkeeper. Romano talked about it. There's been some smoke around some domestic goalkeepers, but we're really consolidating on a backup keeper. Onana has that hamstring injury. United, there was some Emilio Martinez rumors. I think that was agent driven from Argentina primarily. United probably making a smart move. Viable number 2 for Onana. Bayern, sorry about this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, given the finances, given the fact that we have priorities elsewhere, this is the best move. Get like a really strong up-and-coming keeper from a second-tier league, this being the Belgian league, fucking unit. He's got a great save percentage. He's done very well in that league. He's going to need some time to transition, but at the same time, it'll push Onana to be a little bit better. We can't foist Onana yet, but maybe if he stepped his game up, we could foist him next year. And sends Lamens, who came out of nowhere as of a week ago. And these are the type of signings I like. Cheap, good, and nothing but upside. So I'm all about this. Bayern clearly hasn't worked out. Onana has not gone the way we wanted. We'd love to go for who's that killer down in Porto, like top tier 1A goalkeeper. But at the end of the day, this is a good route for United. These are the Ineos type of transfers they need to be doing, which is finding good value for money. And if they can get a deal, 12, 15 million, shit, that's like the Rashford savings right there on a new transfer in. So one to watch. I want to see some more tier 1s from our side, from the Red Devil side, kind of picking up on this because it's been. Fabrizio, I was like, he'll hawk anything. But once Ornstein gets hot on it, then I'll get excited.
No, absolutely. And I feel like goalkeeper's gotten more important, obviously, as sweeper keeper and that trend. United just really never signed one. We just kept De Gea. United used to keep only one goalkeeper, really, top number 1. Now you look at Arsenal, they're bringing in Kepa as a backup. They're getting deeper at goalkeeper. You look at the Scouse Bastards last year, their backup keeper came in and did quite a job when Alisson was out. And I feel like you need 2 solid goalkeepers. United never really got to flip the card on Bayern because he got injured last season. He came in, played great against Arsenal. Then he had that injury when Onana wasn't in good form. I feel like that was a time to switch to a number 2, but we couldn't because of injuries. So more goalkeeping talent at United. If you don't have the guy, you got to find at least guys who can step up to compete with the guy. And I think Sen Lamens is a great shout. Not going to solve all of our problems. Young, raw talent. You look at him where does he excel? Shot stopper. He had 178 saves for Antwerp, leads the list of goalkeepers in the world, all leagues. Now, does that mean you look at this list? Are these elite goalkeepers? Not necessarily. So is this metric the right way to judge it? No, but hey, it makes quite a bit of saves. He's getting a lot of practice at Antwerp, so that could be useful. The thing about United is it's focused on the sweeper keeper element, playing and building out of the back, and then be able to turn it on when you're not getting a lot of shots. I feel like that might be the opposite for this kid, but he's got a lot of raw talent and he's 22.
Yeah, I mean, this is more of the David De Gea kind of type goalkeeper, right? Elite shot stopper. I don't know if he's going to ever hit the level that David De Gea did at his peak, but he's not what we hoped Onana would be in terms of a pure play sweeper keeper. Now, whether that can develop playing under Ruben Amorim's system, playing for a more dominant possession-based team like Manchester United, we will see. But the profile's right. It makes sense. It makes sense if you look in the forest through the trees, like, hey, we want to go get a $40 million keeper, the best in the game. But right now, we'd rather get an Ollie Watkins. We'd rather get a backup six project and someone like Lamens who can kind of challenge bodies in a more meaningful way. He's big. He's Belgian. Maybe he could be the second Courtois, but like someone that can push Bindier out and push Onana to either like step his game up or get pushed and have Lamens become the number one. So I like this type of transfer. Let's see how it develops over the coming weeks and months. But it seems like the front office is focusing in the right areas.
Yeah, and another note, he's agreed to personal terms, loves Manchester United, considers it a dream move. I feel like Ineos and the front offices, they're milking that dream United move, and then they're putting it on the clubs to negotiate. Didn't work with Brentford, but maybe with like a Villa and Ollie Watkins or a Sen Lamens it can. I like this tactic, but we're just going to be delaying and waiting for deals, and I think we're going to be opportunistic throughout the rest of the window. Getting into probably the funniest topic here.
Bomb squad!
Before we do, drop your questions in the chat. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the American Red Devils on YouTube. We're going live a lot more, talking transfer news. And again, we're going live match streams. Please get your questions in. We'll answer them sort of at the end of the live stream. Let's talk about Bomb Squad. I don't know, like usually the Bomb Squad is coming to help you defuse the bomb. These guys, I think, are the bomb. So I don't know why this Laurie Whitwell Bomb Squad nickname, like the Bomb Squad's coming to save you, right? At the end of the day, I don't think the Garnacho, Antony, and Sancho are saving us in any material way, but he says, hey, tier 1, I'm not aware of anything imminent for any of them. Discussions ongoing for all of them. So at the end of the day, how the Bomb Squad goes is going to be how that central midfield signing goes and maybe how ambitious we can get at striker. If you could get 40 or 50 for Antony, you could do a Sesko. If you get 25 or 30 for Garnacho, you could probably do a CDM. When you get these deals done will then determine how fast you can spend in the market and what options are available. I'm more concerned about Garnacho and Antony and getting something up front. Sancho's just going to be Sancho.
Yeah, and actually I was surprised. I thought Rashford would run super late into the window if he was to get a transfer. If Barca fell apart, maybe you get his head turned by Turkey or some of the other clubs that were in for him. He moved. That's great. I think a bunch of these will run late. At the end of the day, clubs will get desperate. Season will start. Things won't go the way they want. I could see an Antony going to an Atletico Madrid. I think that's like right up their alley in terms of just like the profile player. Sancho, I was hoping there was real legs in that Juve rumor. They seem to have cooled off recently. But look at Rashford. His deal, there was a lot of smoke. He was posturing a lot around the Barcelona move. But at the end of the day, it happened quick. And that's the thing with transfers is all of a sudden they can move in less than a week. So one to keep an eye on, but United are going to have to be nimble because a lot of the future, beyond probably a Lamens, maybe they can do an Ollie Watkins if they structure it the right way, if Garnacho's involved. But there might be dealings that run up late into the window given the fact that we need to sell and defuse the Bomb Squad before we can actually go back into the market.
And speaking of Bomb Squad, the latest we got, Sancho from Ornstein, tier 1, heavily rumored to be going to Juventus. It's not accurate at all. I do like the new trend where the United side journos are throwing cold water on the BS coming out of Italy and Spain. That's kind of a new thing, and I do appreciate it because there's so much just crap news. Like Simon Stone threw cold water on the Gyökeres coming out of Portugal. That was just trolling from the agents trying to just wheel and deal.
And actually, I think that's a very good point, sir, because it maybe speaks to how the new front office, Wilcox, Omar, are treating their relationship with the tier 1. There used to be obviously a good relationship with Simon Stone, and then I think Woodward had kind of his guys that he would run bullshit through. I don't remember the names right now, but it seems like they're running Ornstein and Laurie Whitwell is kind of in the fold very much so, even with Simon Stone as well, to kind of push back on the nonsense that we've seen for decades. Other clubs using Manchester United as a way to kind of push either a player to accept a contract offer or maybe motivate a club to pay that player more or whatever. But I do like how they're pouring cold water on things because it helps kind of cut down the noise. But this is one that, you would think Could we get something?
So getting
I hope.
Sancho's wages off the books, you're looking at 15 million right there.
Right there.
That'd be a huge, that moves the needle on the buy side for Manchester United. And then obviously Chelsea, Garnacho, this is another one. They're monitoring the situation. I feel like everyone's kind of in a holding pattern, waiting for shoes to drop, waiting to do deals. It is good. It's a good thing that Chelsea wants Garnacho. You look at that team, you're like, do you really need Garnacho? They just won the Club World Cup. If we could get 40 out of them, 35 even, and that could get us a good striker and let us get a central midfielder in, that'd be huge. But as far as the bomb squad, we're going to keep you posted on everything there going forward. Let us know if you got any questions in the chat for the live stream. We'll answer them right now. Jumping into some fan questions. D_Cole. How many sales do you think we actually conclude by the end of the window? We've already got Rashford's not a sale, so we're on 0.
I would guess 2. I think there's 4 players in the bomb squad. I think we'll sell Garnacho. I think we'll sell Sancho. I think Anthony might be another bogey loan deal, and maybe we can get rid of Malacia. But I think the over/under is 2. I don't know. So what do you think?
For sale, I think we could sell. I think we'll sell 1. I think we'll sell 1 of Garnacho and Anthony, and I'm hoping it sucks, but Chelsea's got money. They spend it. They spend it quickly. Garnacho 40. Sorry, that hurts. To see him in a Chelsea shirt would suck. But 40 million, we're broke. We need the money. You gotta just get cash. Anthony Batiste is just gonna hold out. We've already saw I said they would do that from the beginning. They're gonna pay us nothing. And at the end of the day, I'm thinking 1 real sale. Please make it 40 million pounds. And then if you get lucky, you can get an Anthony for, 35 or something like that.
And
that'd be a huge success. That'd be grand slam home run, 75 million in sales. You'd get the striker, you'd get the backup goalie, and you would get the midfielder. But right now, I bet you they're looking at maybe 1, and that probably doesn't get you a midfielder.
Yeah, I think right now they're thinking they can get a striker done. Probably not a Sheshko, probably not Jackson on his valuation. But it's so dependent on sales. It's so dependent on being creative and also like cutting your losses. I think if United had been willing to take a lower conversion rate for a deal with Chelsea in January, we could have gotten them off the books then. And instead, I think they were, their eyes were a little too big for their stomach, and they were like, "Hey, we can get 25 million out of these idiots instead." Like, shame on you, bro. Here he is, he's back. So I think we have to be willing to cut our losses. Same with like Malacia. It's like it has to go kind of Donny Van de Beek style. It's like take them, pay us 400K, take them, just take them. We don't need the distraction, we don't need the wages, and we don't just need the player filling up a spot. So I think they're going to get, there's a lot of transfer window left. There's still 5 weeks plus. What happens at the end of the window? They start just pushing players out and basically giving them away. Like, who wants it? Hey, some Dutch team, do you want them? Take them.
Hesty says sell-on clause would be on Garnacho. It depends on the price. If it's cheap, we would get sell-on most likely. But Chelsea, if they're going to pay, 45 million, like I would imagine they wouldn't want anything related to sell-on. Rajat, why is Malacia included with these players? He's never had a fallout issue. Look, Amram didn't rate him, and I feel like he's, one of the remnants of the Eric Ten Hag Dutch, going all in on Dutch players, which we literally did for a second time, and it blew up in our face. He also had a lot of health issues. If you remember, he was out
for like 14 months
for quite a while. Then he came back under Amram, and he, looked a liability. I think he ended up getting hooked at halftime under Amram. He gave him a chance. Then he had the loan deal, and he's come back. So it's just it's not really a fallout. It's just like, hey, we just don't have room for any left back. Now, the thing about Malacia is his wages aren't high, so it's really not that big of a financial concern.
Yeah, I think it's not in the other category. It's just a player that they like to sell and get off the books. In the same way, like if they could, they like to probably get Onana off the books, buy Endear off the books. But Malacia, I don't think he has the personality like, Sancho throwing up his PS2 onto the pitch, but can't cut it in the EPL, especially after whatever happened. We don't even know what happened. There was like a 1.5 year absence, probably dealing with stuff off the pitch. So that would make sense. Send him to the Dutch league. He'll probably do fine there. But that might run late as well into the end of the transfer window.
Austin Johnson, what week is Shaw hurt and out for the season? Hopefully not any time. Hopefully we get Shaw like 100% And I want to see him maybe feature a left wing back because I feel like a fit Luke Shaw, it takes him a while to get up to fitness, probably 2 months. If he is really fit, I think he can do well at wing back. And the reason is you could almost bring in a Heaven, push Shaw out on the wing, right? So I think you're going to see more rotations from Amram as he tries to find his best 11. And so maybe he starts out at the left side center back and then someone subs on and he can go out onto the wing. I really want to see a fit Luke Shaw playing well for United because that's like almost like a new signing because we've had so many issues with Luke Shaw. But look, we got the good vibes rolling here at the American Red Devils. We're going to be live a lot more this summer. We're going to be doing live streams as well. Please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We got off the ground last year. We've been doing the podcast on iTunes and Spotify for almost 8 years now. It was a rough season, but we're back, baby. We're coming back. Let's hope that Amram can hold the line. I feel like Amram has his finger is on the pulse of what the team needs, and he's telling Ineos very consistently. We're hearing it from all the top-tier journos like Romano, what he wants. I agree with everything. Ten Hag would sign a player. I'd be like, why do we need that? Like Xerxes would be a great example. Great player, has a lot of potential, but why did we need that profile? Amram, everything he's asking for is exactly what we need, and that's a really good sign that Ruben Amram has Ineos in the front office driving to what he needs and wants.
And they're on the same page. There's clear alignment that, like, hey, both the manager, the front office want to prioritize Premier League proven talent, and I think that is the right strategy. I'm very excited about our 2 signings to date, and I would continue that process for at least the number 9 that we want to go after. The value Ollie Watkins offers, given his productivity in the league over the last 5 seasons. 40 million, dude. It's like, that's a fucking bargain. So either way, like John mentioned, don't forget to like, subscribe on our YouTube channel. Check out our Patreon. Check out our Discord. And we're going to be back on Saturday live, not from Chicago, from here, from the pod bunker, breaking down the West Ham, hopefully victory against the Hammers in the Windy City. Apparently it's going to be a hot one, but it'll be an evening game, so it shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, you can join our Discord in the description below. Links to all of our socials. Also, our newsletter. We send out a weekly newsletter. Just went out today. All the top United stories in your inbox. We filter through all the BS, cut through all the noise, give you the best Manchester United stories. Join our newsletter, americaredevils.com/newsletter. Link in the description below. We're going to leave you with a great Manchester United song here, sir. Take me home, United Road. We're coming back this season. It's going to be big. 2025, 2026, Ruben Amram. Here we go.